Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at MarketSite for Empire FinTech, we have Donna, Parisi, Partner and Global Head of Financial Services and FinTech at Shearman and Sterling to discuss institutionalization of digital assets and the evolving financial services landscape. And I always enjoy when we have people who are in law come on the show with their perspective because the landscape just moves so fast and really balancing regulation and innovation while still maintaining a safe financial system really is key to advancing this. What does the landscape look like now?
Well, we're still very much in a regulatory gray area, but we've made some progress. You know, President Biden issued an executive order that acknowledged just what you said, which is we need to protect the safety and soundness of our financial system and protect our consumers. But on the other hand, we don't want to be left behind when it comes to innovation. We don't want to let other countries, particularly China, get ahead of us when it comes to digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and central bank digital currencies.
Is it a challenge for regulation to keep up with the pace of technology?
It is. So, you know, I think the United States has a rather flexible regulatory system, but there's really no incentive for regulators to go out on a limb and take chances, right, when it comes again to the importance of safety and soundness of the financial system and protecting retail consumers. So the system is flexible, right? We have laws that were passed back in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s that can be adapted to the digital currency and digital asset landscape today, but it takes some initiative from the regulators, and their incentives are not really there. However, as I said, there's a big push towards innovation and not being left behind, and that's providing the impetus.
Well, I mean, there's a fine balancing act between the competitiveness that we have and keeping investors safe. What are some of the potential applications for blockchain technology in finance?
Oh, there's a lot, right? So one of the most basic ones that really has nothing to do with DeFi and all of that sort of thing would be payment rails, right? So using blockchain technology to essentially revamp our payment rails, sending money cross-border between financial institutions, and then of course also between consumers. Blockchain is really going to revolutionize that.
Right. Well, it's interesting. You made the distinction with DeFi. I wonder if one day DeFi will just be known as finance as the financial services landscape evolves.
Maybe someday. I will say we have a long way to go. DeFi definitely has its benefits, but there are a lot of benefits to having centralization in the financial system. So there will be a role for DeFi, but I'm not convinced that centralized finance is on its way out permanently.
What are your thoughts on central bank digital currencies?
I think we will have one. I think that there are two, sort of models. There's the wholesale model where the central bank digital currency is really a way to, again, facilitate payment and information flows between the Fed and the banking system and banks that participate in the banking system. And then we'll have central bank digital currencies that will be direct to retail and the American people that will facilitate things like Social Security payments and et cetera. We will get there. I see that definitely happening 5, 10, maybe 15 years out, but we will get there.
I understand you're also, you lead the Women's Initiative at Shearman in Sterling. Tell us why you're passionate about diversity and inclusion at the firm and in the industry overall.
Listen, we really need women and diverse people to have a seat at the table. And one of the reasons why I get so excited about my role at Shearman is when my worlds collide. And when I see fintech, digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and our Women's Initiative, women aren't really happy with the status quo. And these new technologies really give us an opportunity to change the status quo and put us front and center, whether it comes to investing, whether it becomes the legal landscape, whether it becomes DeFi. We have a way to sort of reshape the future of finance.
Right, well, we know in traditional finance, especially when we first started in the business, that there wasn't as many women in the business. With digital assets, crypto, blockchain, these newer technologies, are you seeing more women, younger women enter those areas?
Yes, I do, for those reasons. They're still a minority, and there still is, certainly in the cryptocurrency space, that sort of crypto bro culture. But I see a lot of women excited about a lot of the use cases that you alluded to, right? One being payment rails, but there's also, digital identity. There's a whole bunch of use cases that really excite women, and yes, they're getting in droves.
That's good to know. All right, Donna, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.